Move over, Leo. Out of the way, Mr. Depp. There's a new heartthrob in town, and his name is Zac Efron.
Zac Efron! Zac Efron!
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron!
Hey everybody, it's Zac!
I'm Zac, what's up?
With the breakout success of High School Musical and the monumental franchise that it created, Zac began dancing his way into the hearts of audiences around the world.
But somehow, some way, kids all over the world are connecting with High School Musical. I can't explain it.
It was just so fast. When that hit, it was just like overnight.
It's funny since you arrived, Zac, girls have started screaming a lot.
Hey, I like that.
He went from kid in community theater in the Rio Grande to this teen idol who has 2 publicists and paparazzi following him to Starbucks.
Yeah, I do look at pictures of Zac Efron and think, yeah, he's lovely.
Now he's like the best dancer I've ever seen. He's wonderful. I just can't believe how good he is, and he's really worked hard at that.
But Zac has stayed grounded through it all and made some great friends along the way.
That is sweet.
Yeah, we're all really good friends.
Yeah, we made a really good group of friends.
And this on-camera couple took their relationship off the screen and into real life. But we'll get into that later. First, we have to go back to where it all began. Zachary David Alexander Efron was born in San Luis Obispo, California on October 18, 1987. To call him a cute baby would be a definite understatement.
He grew up in Arroyo Grande, and his dad is an engineer at the power plant there, and his mom, Starla, met his dad. She was a former secretary at the plant, and that's how the two of them met.
Zac's hometown is a tight-knit, sun-drenched community halfway up the coast of California. Arroyo Grande has a small-town charm. In fact, the local high school is a lot like the one in High School Musical.
Zac graduated from high school in 2006, and he always talked about that he wasn't necessarily, the most popular kid.
The coolest of the nerds. And that's pretty much probably what I was.
But he was a good student. He had I think a 4.3 GPA, and he just was a normal kid and enjoyed skateboarding and basketball and golf just like anyone else.
Arroyo Grande High is loaded with school spirit. Most of the students successfully go on to college, and many of them play for one of the school's sports teams.
The area around Arroyo Grande is sort of like the rest of California was in the 50s. We don't have a lot of smog, we don't have high-rises, we don't have traffic, a lot of crime. There's a lot of open space, and this is kind of like a relaxed, mellow surfer vibe.
Growing up in such terrific surroundings was a great thing for Zac, and his easygoing and grounded personality is proof of his awesome upbringing.
So not yes, I'm Zac Efron, I am gorgeous, I am all this. He's really normal, so it's very nice.
It's always slightly embarrassing, I'm new to the whole thing, and we're all kind of just try and take it with a grain of salt. It could be gone tomorrow.
Somebody like Zac Efron, it's a really big deal, and he's arguably probably the biggest celebrity from this county.
His parents really watched out for him.
Noticing Zac's natural flair for singing his favorite songs, Zac's parents encouraged him to get into acting.
He said that he was singing and dancing all around the house when he was 11, and his parents finally, recognized his ability, and his mom said that she was going to drop him off at Toys R Us, and actually dropped him off at an audition for Gypsy.
She asked if I, wanted to go to Toys R Us one day. I think it was all into these action figures or something. Little did I know it was actually a trick. She dropped me off at this audition. And
For Gypsy.
For Gypsy.
When he was 11, Zac auditioned for a role in the musical Gypsy at a theater in Solvang. And he got a minor part in that, but even though it was a small role, he told me that he was automatically addicted to the applause and the laughter from the crowd. And so after that, he started auditioning more frequently and appearing in basically as many productions as he could.
And from then on, he kind of went on to be in Peter Pan, Little Shop of Horrors, The Music Man, and he continued this through high school, and his drama teacher saw kind of potential in him.
I met Zach when I was called by his drama teacher, Robin Metchick, to come out to, I think, the middle school and work on a project she was doing. He walked in with a level of confidence and personal security, and not because he got a lot of attention because he was cute. He just, I think, always knew who he was.
Zach went on to perform in many local stage productions, with Peter Pan being one of his favorites.
My favorite memory of Zachary was buckling into the harnesses for Peter Pan, because that was their dream from day one. Okay, when do we fly? Are we going to fly yet? When do we get to do that?
Zach's break into Hollywood came a few years later when his middle school drama teacher, Robin Metchick, realized his potential and contacted an agent friend in Los Angeles.
Zach probably would have continued to do local theater and gone on to study drama at UCLA as he'd planned, were it not for Robin Metchick, who was a drama teacher at a local high school. And Robin told me that even in middle school, she noticed that Zach had what she called sparkle. And he had good looks, he had energy, and he had talent. So knowing that, Robin, who had some connections to Hollywood, referred him to an agent and kind of suggested that he audition for parts in Los Angeles.
The only place you're going to go here in the theater, it's not going to happen on the Central Coast. You must go to Los Angeles.
Zach's mom drove Zach back and forth to Los Angeles 3 days a week for auditions while he was still attending Arroyo Grande High School.
You have to credit the parents, because they're the ones that, okay, get in the car, this is where you want to go, I'm going to drive you here.
Zach's mom was very dedicated in her son's career. She would drive him up to LA just for auditions, which is a 6-hour round trip. He started getting little bit parts.
Are you kidding?
His first was in 2002 with the Josh Whedon series, Firefly. And then after that, it just kind of blossomed from there. He was in ER, The Guardian, I believe, CSI Miami, until 2004 was kind of his big break with Summerland.
In the summer of 2004, Zach landed the role of Cameron Bale on the well-loved but short-lived WB show, Summerland.
Originally, his character was just supposed to be recurring, but later on in the second season, he joined the cast because I think they saw his potential.
I mean, it's more than a pretty face and a nice form. You have to combine all the elements of heart and soul to create that magic.
He played the part of Cameron Bale, and I think it kind of showed his depth a little bit as an actor because he played a son to an abusive alcoholic father. And it was a short-lived series, but I think, you know, he kind of struck a chord with audiences.
You know, I could actually use some help right now from a friend.
In 2004, Zach starred alongside Mary Louise Parker and Aidan Quinn in a made-for-Lifetime TV movie, Miracle Run. He played Steven, a young boy, one of 2 autistic twins.
While no one knew it at the time, Zach's career began to follow the path of another Hollywood star.
Leonardo DiCaprio took on the role of What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He played a mentally challenged boy in that. Again, the comparison comes up with Zach and Leo because they both kind of took on these roles with children who had learning disabilities and just really showed that they can take on these type of roles.
Zach's television show, Summerland, was canceled. Lucky for Zach, he scored his first big screen acting job shortly after, in The Derby Stallion.
I'd been looking for a script for a long time that would be a good family picture that I could take my children to and that I could enjoy myself.
The Derby Stallion is a really sweet family film. Zach played Patrick, a young boy who kind of befriended an old stable hand, and he decided to take on the town bully in a steeplechase.
What's going on?
Nothing.
It didn't sound like nothing at dinner.
Maybe you should be asking Dad.
I'm asking you. It's a coming-of-age story about a 15-year-old boy, and he's trying to decide what to do with his life. So his parents want him to do one thing, and he wants to do something else. And the thing that he wants to do is to be a steeplechase jockey. The only man in town who can help him become what he wants to be is known as the town drunk. And the truth is, he's not. The truth is, people have made up much worse stories about him than actually exist.
My parents don't want me coming over here anymore.
Because of this, ain't it?
Yeah, I'm worried about how it looks to people, I think.
Can't say as I blame them.
I can.
No, you can't. They're your parents. Parents got responsibilities.
Yeah, but they don't know you.
It teaches people a little bit about preconceived notions and how parents can support their children through things that may not be the dream that they had for their children, but is the dream, in fact, that the child had for him himself.
Look, man, why do you have to call him that? Call him whatever I want. He's forgotten more about steeplechase than you'll ever know.
Even at a young age, and with very little on-screen experience, Zach proved to be up to the challenge.
He really starred in The Derby Stallion, and he really was in almost every scene, and he worked with every person on the set, and he carried the movie. My favorite scene to watch is the scene between Billy Moses and Zach right before they go to Houston Jones's funeral.
It was all along. It's the way it is. We go out the way we come in. Alone.
It wasn't difficult to spot Zach's amazing potential.
Well, he was a really good actor, and he looked fabulous on camera, and he was a nice person.
During the production of The Derby Stallion, Zach delivered some great news to the cast and crew.
We were looping, and he comes into the sound stage and says, "Oh, by the way, I just got cast in this movie called High School Musical." And I said, "Great!"
Zach's career was about to take off. While Zach is a natural to play High School Musical's Troy Bolton, it almost didn't happen.
On the last day of casting for Disney original movie High School Musical, he just kind of showed up and he landed the part. Kenny Ortega recognized, you know, his talent immediately. He said he kind of reminded him of a Cary Grant.
The director of High School Musical was Kenny Ortega, who has a real instinct for recognizing musical talent.
Kenny Ortega is famous for his choreographed musicals. You might be familiar with Newsies, which had Christian Bale in it back in the day, and he's done a lot of Disney original movies. And I think High School Musical was kind of the one that put him back in the limelight of being that type of director.
No one could imagine the phenomenon that High School Musical was about to become.
You know, when we were filming the first one, we just thought we were doing a Disney Channel movie, and Disney Channel does tons of movies.
I was supposed to be writing a paper for school, and I was flipping through the channels, and I kind of like saw this kid, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. And I was caught up in, they were singing and they were dancing, and it just immediately caught my attention. Zac Efron plays Troy Bolton, who's a popular kid, captain of the basketball team, who kind of struggles with his want or desire to sing and dance, which his other, friends kind of tease him about.
Yeah, it's always kind of backwards for me because I was always the school kid. I was always going to school, and that was my main focus. So I had to think of other things to do, kind of like the characters have to do in the movie. But this acting is the thing that I did that was, branching out. So, it's weird to say on the outside of acting because this really is my, how I goof off, how I hang out and have fun. It's like my outlet. So, kind of like Troy's singing is the musical.
Vanessa Hudgens plays Gabriella, Zach's love interest in the film, and she's kind of this straight-laced, intelligent type girl, and through their singing, they kind of realize that they have chemistry and a connection, and Zach's character, Troy, is torn because he wants to show his devotion to the basketball team, but at the same time, he realizes he's in love with Gabriella. Zach originally met Vanessa in 2006 during the castings. They were paired together to see how they would work, and chemistry must have hit off nicely because they've been together ever since.
We've been acting since before the movie, and I've been singing since I was 7 or 6, maybe even younger than that.
We've all been doing it for a very long time, so we've had our fair share of lessons and stuff. But I think that the 2 weeks of rehearsal that we had for dancing and stuff actually came in more in handy than a lot of our past training.
Like Zach, Vanessa was from the Central Coast in Monterey County, and she started acting at an early age. And in High School Musical, she played Troy Bolton's love interest. And life imitating art, in real life they became involved also.
Zach had to learn to play hoops like his character Troy. Unlike acting, it was something Zach didn't have much prior experience with.
I didn't know how to play basketball before the movie. I was not that great. I could shoot a little bit, but it took a lot of work, a lot of practice.
In the TV movie, Troy's dad was both father and basketball coach, which put a lot of pressure on Troy, something pretty much all teens can relate to.
And you know, that's what makes the movie, is all the pressure that comes along with being the star of a basketball team and when your dad's the coach. And I think the dad has some good goals for his son as well. He's a good father. So, yeah, he was definitely tough, but I think that's what made the connection between the two characters.
The fun thing about High School Musical is there's a lot of characters. It kind of plays with like social roles in high school, and that you don't have to be just one thing.
There's so much pressure right now to like grow up faster, to know exactly what you're doing by the time you're like 7, and this is just about, hey, let's just have fun with our friends and enjoy school and, you know, just laugh and sing together.
And the arts are so inclusive. So for the shy kids, for the nervous kids, for the kids who just don't know who they are, well, they want to be a part of something. It creates a sense of belonging that creates its own family in that way. We want them to bring your imagination. Just bring it. Bring some energy.
Besides the tremendous success of the movie, the best thing about it was how the cast bonded during the filming.
I love working with the cast of High School Musical. We are all best friends now.
And you can bet they loved working with you too, Zach.
So much fun. He's one of my really good friends. I've actually known him for about 2 years, so it's very cool to be able to work with your friends, especially Vanessa. I knew her for a long time as well, so it was just a huge party, and Zach's totally cute.
Zach's a doll. He's a great kid. All of the cast, we're like a little family now.
Zach is a cool guy, you know. He's pretty humble, and he says that he's not really hot stuff, but he is. He knows what he's doing. He's a good kid.
Yeah, we're all really good friends.
Oh, yeah, great friends. We don't live that far away from each other. We're all pretty close.
We all live really close to each other, so we're always seeing each other and hanging out and everything.
Yeah, we made a really good group of friends.
But Zach's old friends from back home also still keep in touch, and they get a kick out of seeing him on television.
Outside friends that aren't in the industry especially, oh my gosh, they're so supportive. I think it's such a novelty to them, you know, to see their friend on screen and doing this kind of stuff. And I was lucky. I have great friends.
When I first interviewed Zach Efron, it was at his parents' house in Rio Grande, California. And at that time, High School Musical was just starting to get big, so most adults didn't know who he was. If you were a kid, and you watched the Disney Channel, he was a celebrity already. At that time, he was still sort of surprised by the attention he was getting. He seemed to be really enjoying himself. He wasn't one of those jaded kids in Hollywood. And you got the sense that if it all just ended tomorrow, he'd still be okay with it.
We all know and love High School Musical from start to finish, but the cast members definitely have their own favorite scenes.
How we were all in this together, I mean, it was just the whole ordeal was very overwhelming, and there were so many people involved, and I mean, we had a band that was actually playing, and I mean, it was just like a real high school rally.
Yeah, it was like, you know, where the camera was, they filled the whole place with extras, and there's a real band going, playing real drums, and everyone was so excited, and the energy that was in that room was just incredible. So that was the most fun to shoot.
My favorite scene to watch is definitely Status Quo. I just love the hugeness of the scene. It's one of those scenes that I'm going to look forward to seeing tonight.
My favorite part of the movie would have to be We're All in This Together, the musical number.
My favorite scene to shoot was the finale. It was the last day of shooting for Ashley and I. We had an amazing experience the whole time, but We're All in This Together was just a huge spectacle. We had so many people in that gym, and it was just like a magical experience. So for me, it was an end to a wonderful emotional journey.
High School Musical took a kind of modern-day twist on the old movie Grease and reminded audiences why they fell in love with musicals in the first place.
There was no real singing or dancing or musicals on, and I think it kind of just hit home, and it was kind of like Grease, but kind of PG more so, and He was like the all-star athlete, but at the same time he was all sensitive, and he could sing and he could dance. And I think just as soon as you saw him, you knew he was kind of going to be a big deal.
I know musicals I'm so glad to be a part of these things, They're great films to make and so fun to be a part of,
Musicals can change the lives of individuals and communities in a number of different ways. The Disney TV film High School Musical captured something of that, and it can be that dramatic. But also musicals can cause what I can only call a chemical change in an audience. People walk in with their day, their life, their problems sitting on their shoulders. And if it's really good entertainment, it takes them out of that.
He kind of resonates because it's kind of a throwback to like the 50s musicals and how the stars, the movies were star vehicles and they sang and they danced. I think especially now in just, the economic times, that it's comforting to see those kind of, carefree movies again.
The DVD launch of High School Musical was the first red carpet experience for many of the cast.
This is my first time ever being on the red carpet, and it is pretty crazy.
Oh, it's great. It's red. It's carpet. It's very cool. Feels just like at home.
This is a dream come true. Dream come true for me.
Is this fun or what? Absolutely. I didn't expect this or imagine that we would end up here.
It's fun. I love just striking a pose, so I'm having a blast.
And even some of Zach's old Summerland co-stars came out to support him.
I'm a big fan of High School Musical, and I have two daughters. They're 6 and 7 years old, and they're huge High School Musical fans. And also, I did a television series prior to this called Summerland with Zac Efron. So we're here to support Zach, too.
As if the success of High School Musical wasn't crazy enough, the High School Musical soundtrack exceeded even the best of expectations. It had a whopping 5 top 40 singles and sold around 4 million copies.
My daughter, Chelsea, who's 9 years old, listens to High School Musical every day. The kids wouldn't be watching Sound of Music.
The kids sure would be watching Zach's next movie, a remake of John Waters' 1988 movie musical, Hairspray.
I don't think he realized what he was creating when he created Hairspray. I mean, it wasn't your traditional movie musical to begin with. It was more of a movie with a heavy-duty dance element, and that dance was absolutely important to what the film was about.
The Broadway production opened to rave reviews in 2002, inspiring Chicago producers Zayden and Mirren to bring it back to the silver screen.
Well, again, we went to the studio in the beginning and we promised them all stars in the adult roles, and we discover new hot young talent in the kid roles. And then you have to go out and do it. And we thought, oh my God, what have we promised? But I think we delivered, because I think we have the most amazing cast we've ever worked with.
We weren't so much recreating the first film.
As reinventing it.
As I guess reinventing it and incorporating a lot from the Broadway show.
If done properly, the movie of Hairspray could be the next Grease. But beyond the commercial appeal of Grease, we thought that there was a lot more undercurrent to Hairspray, because it had great themes of dealing with racial equality and dealing with body image and dealing with being the outsider, trying to fit in, and the underdog being able to triumph.
I talked to Zach about it, and he said it was sort of surreal, because here he was, this a kid from local theater in Arroyo Grande, and he's sitting at a table rehearsing lines with John Travolta, Christopher Walken, and Michelle Pfeiffer. And I think his quote was, "I can't believe where I'm at."
Of course, a huge one is Grease, which was, why I was so excited to work with John. I can't believe it.
John Travolta is the greatest star of our generation in terms of musicals. I mean, who could forget Grease? I mean, he owns the genre, and he has owned it ever since Grease.
We had decided early on that we were going to find a girl to play Tracy. It would be an unknown. And Nikki Blonsky was scooping ice cream at Cold Stone's Creamery. And she at one time come in to actually try and audition for the Broadway production of Hairspray. And they rejected her because they said she was too young and inexperienced. And what she ended up doing, she ended up starring in the movie.
I mean, literally a year ago, I was working in an ice cream store, and now I'm standing next to Zac Efron on a red carpet in London.
It's a rainbow
carpet. It can't get any better than this.
It was challenging, the notion of finding somebody who is actually the right age, who had all of the requirements for being her, was beautiful as well as being large, and could sing. And what blew me away is she loved her body, and she loved the way it moved, and she loved shame. There was no shame in what she did and how she felt, and that is Tracy.
Oh my gosh, well, it was a dream come true. I mean, it was everything I've ever wanted and more, so it was the most amount of fun I think anybody could ever have.
You know, she really is Tracy. She is Tracy in every sense. She's so self-confident, so happy, and so easy to get along with. And I think that's why everyone in this cast really, you know, we love Nikki.
This is my first premiere. I am shocked. People screaming our names. That's unbelievable.
In Hairspray, Zac plays teenage heartthrob Link Larkin, a role that High School Musical lovers knew was a natural fit for Zac. But the producers of the movie weren't always so sure.
No, it's funny that it came after High School Musical, and initially I was immediately dubbed to Disney and kicked out. I was not taken very seriously on the audition, but luckily Adam let me come back and rough it up a bit, and I still thought there was a very slim chance I would get this role.
Adam Shankman, the director, didn't originally want to give it to him. He didn't think that he could, you know, portray the Elvis-type heartthrob. And I know that Zac gained 15 pounds for the role. He dyed his hair dark, and he sang all the vocals in the movie.
For some reason, he had an open mind. I can't thank him enough, and yeah, I got to thank him for letting me help me shed that Disney stigma. You know, I have fun out here.
You step out of the makeup trailer in the morning, you put your wardrobe on, you feel like you've gone back in time. And I think it helps your characters, you know. You have your pants fastened all the way up here, you know, and your tie, yet you're holding a binder because you're at school. So I don't know, it's just different, and it helped me a lot.
Definitely, I mean, the hair was something that was really fun. You know, we just kind of played with it a lot, and the bigger the better, just more hair, more hairspray.
And Zac helped shed his Disney persona with some changes in the hair department.
I have people at my son's school asking, like teachers going, I have a 14-year-old daughter and she needs to know what Zac's hair looks like.
It's almost back. I think it's pretty much 90% there. Yeah, it's back.
But it had to look 60-ish.
No, I was glad to change it up, you know. The characters are you know, they're a little bit similar, but I can change up the way I look and my mannerisms a bit. I figured it'd get the job done.
I saw Hairspray for Zac, like many girls, I think. I think with his help, the movie brought in more than they ever expected it to.
And here's another example of a musical that when you go in, you're going to have the best time you've ever had. But it does leave you thinking about what the themes are and what it's trying to say, what it says about integration, what it says about people's attitude towards body image. So they're really important things that are completely masqueraded in this great big musical entertainment.
You know, because the movie is so fun and vibrant and alive, it never takes itself too seriously, and it doesn't, you know, push an issue down anyone's throat. It kind of just handles it in a very, you know, fun way, which I think is probably the best way to get it across, especially with a broad audience.
Next up for Zac was a high school reunion, as the cast gathered in Salt Lake City to film the second made-for-TV movie.
We don't actually know that much about it. At this point, we know that it's going to take place during summer, and I think that Sharpay and Troy are going to have a little fling.
Gosh, all I know so far is that it's going to take place during summer, and I think Sharpay might take an interest in Troy to take him away from me so we won't do the High School Musical.
But I think the real kind of Zac mania hit home hard when High School Musical 2 came out. That's kind of when he hit total teen heartthrob status. There was Hairspray, which had came out a month before that and kind of really etched his spot in the spotlight. And then there was the Rolling Stone cover in August, which I think women took notice too, because there's kind of the pose where he's lifting his shirt up, and I think ladies, moms, and girls alike started to notice Zach. With High School Musical 2 and Hairspray even, his status reached international levels. I mean, his face was plastered on lunch boxes, you know, t-shirts, you know, there's jewelry with lockets and his face in them. It was just a huge phenomenon.
I swear, right now I have the best fans in the whole world. I can't believe it. Every time I meet them, they're so excited and so supportive, and they love High School Musical. You know, it's great.
I think at the time, Zach was kind of confused as to why he was such a big deal. I know after he kind of stepped back and he wasn't sure if he wanted to continue with the franchise, but in the end he said he owed it to the fans that he wanted to finish out the senior year, and that's why he chose to do the second and third installment.
In January of 2008, the Disney Studios announced that Zach and his High School Musical co-stars were signed to make a big-screen theatrical movie titled High School Musical 3 Senior Year.
The second one, I think, was the highest ranked watched show at the time. It was like 17.2 million viewers. So they knew that they had the financial backing to kind of pursue it into a bigger medium.
But a day after the announcement, fans learned that Zach was in the hospital. Turns out he had to have an emergency surgery to remove his appendix before it burst. But Zach recovered quickly, and it wasn't long before he was back in front of the cameras again. But this time, he took on a very different role.
Me, Orson Welles, was sort of like the serious role I think he was looking for, to sort of be like that Johnny Depp type of character. And it stars Claire Danes, but it's definitely not a movie targeted toward teenagers.
Zach's trying to step out of his kind of tween image, and he's taking on some more substantial roles. Finished production on Me and Orson Welles, which he plays a young actor.
Hoping to follow in the footsteps of former poster boys turned Oscar contenders Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Depp, Zach took on a more serious acting role for Me and Orson Welles.
I think he could very well be the next Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's got the chiseled male beauty that also is strong and manly, and I just think that he could do that. He will bring that seriousness, that intellectual quality. He really wants, I think, to think it through, and I think that will be his strength. He wants to learn it and know it and understand it.
Both Leo and Zach, you kind of see similarities between the two. Leo started out on Growing Pains, kind of a family-oriented show, and Zach started on, you know, he became popular on the Disney Channel, and both of them kind of honed, you know, audiences there. And then both of them kind of reached heartthrob status. Girls had their posters plastered on their walls. People became obsessed with them. They became a product. And Leo, you know, kind of took on more serious roles, kind of stepped away from his whole teen heartthrob thing, but at the same time, he was kind of more rebellious. I think there was a lot of paparazzi following him at the time, but he was known for being kind of rowdy and having a posse. I think Zach is different in the fact that he seems a little bit more reserved. He's kind of stepped back. You might see him at a bar every now and then, but he's not going to be in the headlines for causing trouble. But I think he wants to follow Leo in those steps of kind of becoming a more respected actor in the roles he chooses.
Of course, Leo DiCaprio is one of my favorite, you know, and he started when he was pretty young and graduated to becoming one of our generation's finest actors. And, you know, maybe I'll never be that, but I'm gonna aim high and see what happens.
In October of 2008, High School Musical 3 was released, and it was the first time that it was going to hit the big screens.
How do you feel when you hear that some people, you know, young girls have slept in sleeping bags on the streets overnight to see you?
They're crazy. It's amazing. It's cool to know that they really do love our film that much.
We knew this one was going to be on the big screen, so this was our opportunity to, you know, leave it all on the dance floor, and we really gave this one everything we had.
I think that just kind of brought it to a whole nother level because it was, you know, theaters versus everyone tuning in at their households.
The big screen extravaganza instantly topped the box office.
I remember in the theater, as soon as, Zach came on screen, there was a slow-mo and it just zoomed in on him. And there was just a gasp throughout the theater of all the moms and girls just because he was like sweaty and playing basketball. And everyone was just like in awe of him on the big screen.
Just before the movie opened, a famous wax museum in New York revealed its very adorable figure of our favorite hunk.
There's a certain honesty and fun and spirit and togetherness that I think is there, and I think definitely the music and the dancing, the world, it's colorful and safe and pleasant to be visiting for an hour and a half. It's a great alternative. When I had the idea to make this, I made it because I have 3 kids who love watching musicals. So I wanted to make something that they could appreciate and love. And I thought, if there are 3 boys who love sports and love music, I think there's a lot of other kids who love it too. So I figured it'd be big, but who could ever guess that it would be this big?
This is what we've always wanted High School Musical to be. And as the characters transition into adulthood, you tend to have more to dance for. It means a lot more.
It's all about people from different backgrounds and you have different hobbies all coming together through the theatre, and people in Africa can have something in common with people in America because of High School Musical. It's brought everyone together, and I think it's great.
I think because kids all over the world, no matter where they live, have the same feeling of wanting to be themselves, and it's just such a joyous movie, just being happy, that it just resonates with people, I think.
We never get asked a single question more than, where was the kiss?
The on-screen romance between Troy and Gabriella had grown up, and at long last, they had their first movie kiss.
We were ready for it, and we felt comfortable in the characters. And I've always admired Kenny's restraint with kissing in High School Musical because it created that tension. Finally, we're able to deliver, and I think it's pretty powerful.
I feel that Gabriella and Troy have this amazing story. They've been together since I think their sophomore year now, and they're seniors and they've grown up and they're in love, and they just have this sweet, innocent story about them. So I feel that it was a good kiss.
There's nothing like actually working with people like Zach and Vanessa and Ashley, who are just so professional, and everything's about getting the work done, and then we'll hang out later. So it was great for my first feature film to be with such talented kids. It was wonderful.
This has been very much a high school experience for us as a cast and as a group of friends. And no matter what other adventures we went off and did in between the movies, we've always had High School Musical to come back to come home to. And the idea that is gone now is very saddening. I can't tell you what the last day of filming was like. It was very emotional.
It's a cry.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, the crew, everyone.
Very sad. I can't even really think about it, because whenever I do, I start to tear up. It's been the most amazing journey.
It was a very nostalgic time being able to film the movie, and we had such a beautiful time together. It was a sad moment the last day, but I'll hold on to this forever.
What happened on the last day?
Everybody cried. It really was. It was an emotional day.
Monique would start crying, and Ashley would look at Monique. She'd start crying. I'd look at Ashley, and I'd start crying. It was just this chain reaction.
The last day of filming, we were all crying, just because it's been amazing 3 years, and it's just been an amazing experience. So definitely a little sad.
We're definitely sad. We've always, through all our adventures and other movies and music tours, we've always had High School Musical to come home to, and to work with our friends, and it's always been that lift. So we won't have that anymore. But you've got to grow up at some point, and that's today for us.
The third High School movie was on the big screen, and because of that, Disney had a big promotional tour overseas. And once Zac Efron was overseas, he found that girls swarmed him just as they did in the United States.
Flew all the way out here to be with you guys, and it's the least I can do to at least try and say hi to every person. Sometimes it gets crazy, so forgive me if you don't get an autograph, but I'm gonna try.
Are you excited for the premiere? Alright, well I'm gonna be looking for you there, okay? I'll see you tonight. Alright, thank you. Can I have one more hug for the road?
When I hugged Zach, I was really happy, really excited, and I didn't want it to end.
And that night at the premiere, Zach kept his word, spending time signing autographs for his loyal fans.
We started in Sweden, and then we went to Paris, France, and we've been to Munich, and been to so many places now. And it keeps escalating every country we get to. So
I'm ready for this one to be the biggest of all.
High School Musical has always been about that youthful energy and about a love of performing. And that's what we try and keep alive inside us at all times. That's what I'm going to carry with me forever.
In March of 2009, fans were thrilled to learn that their favorite dancing and singing sensation would be starring in a remake of the hit flick, Footloose, in the role that made Kevin Bacon famous. Fans and critics alike thought Zach would be great for the part.
I read that he was going to do Footloose, and I was so excited because I just thought that is perfect casting. I was excited about the perfect casting of that film and the fact that that movie was going to come back out. I loved all that music.
I do musicals till I die. I have so much fun with these things. It's really not like making a movie at all. And I can tell you, I've made a few small movies before, and musicals just have a feeling. And when I watch them, I can watch them back and enjoy them, and that's rare for me. So yeah, I'll keep doing them until I burn out.
However, fans' hopes were crushed when it was announced that Zach had decided to back out of the role, and that they had cast Gossip Girl's hunk Chase Crawford to fill Kevin Bacon's shoes instead.
Zach told me that he really wanted to follow his heart, which meant he wanted to do the type of things that he enjoyed doing, and he really likes musicals. But I think at some point, the people around him said, you know, maybe you need to do something else, you know, so you're not just a high school musical type of actor. So he eventually dropped out of that project.
It's nothing against musicals. I hope I can be involved in musicals in the future. It's just, I'm looking for a new challenge right now.
I understood why he turned that down, because I think, again, it was falling into a stereotype of yet another high school challenge. And you can just play that high school thing. Yes, he could probably do that till he's 30. But he's young enough to know there is a difference and not just being kind of, you know, stereotypical typecast. And this is what I'll play.
I think he's kind of proven, you know, that he has talent and that he's not just, you know, a prepackaged Disney boy, that he's actually an actor.
He's a really good actor, you know, and that's the thing that was so important. You know, he takes his acting really seriously. He really wanted to make himself stand out and have a serious acting career. He was very fortunate to get the High School Musical movies, and I know he felt that way and very grateful for that. At the same time, though, he was very determined to have his own serious acting career, not only with Disney. And I'm very proud of him for following his dream and it takes a lot of courage to stand up and walk away from a guaranteed salary, guaranteed fan base, guaranteed popularity, to have to trust yourself and your own talent, and he did that.
Hollywood knew that he had a lot of momentum, and they sort of jumped on that, and he became the first breakthrough actor.
Zach went on to star in the big screen comedy 17 Again.
17 Again was the first movie really to star Zac Efron. And even though it had sort of that familiar body swap theme like Big and Freaky Friday, it did very well.
It's kind of a reversal of Big. He plays a middle-aged guy who kind of looks at his life and feels like he's a loser, and he gets a chance to go back and kind of do it over again. And it was pretty cute. I think a lot of people were waiting for him to fail, and he kind of showed that, you know, watch out for him.
This is definitely a movie that I wanted to, you know, bring the fans along for. It's a brand new adventure, and I think it's much more grown up than High School Musical.
And with co-stars like Friends alumni Matthew Perry, the hilarious Leslie Mann, and funny guy Thomas Lennon, Zach also got to work out his comedy chops.
Now I learned everything I know from Tom. So this is my sensei over here. He taught me the ways of the
how to work the ladies.
How to work the ladies.
Yes. That was obviously took a lot of acting expertise to play someone that nerdy and weird and creepy and sad. That's obviously not
actually
who I am at all.
He went very Daniel Day-Lewis on this role. Very method, and he never broke character. He's still in character.
It's a lot of fun to get to be the totally silly person in the movie next to you.
The movie kept viewers laughing, but it also had a great message.
I think that life is a series of big moments like that and decisions. This character has one, and he thinks that he incorrectly thinks that it was a mistake to marry you.
Right.
You know? and then learns throughout this movie that it wasn't.
Since Zach was playing the 17-year-old version of Matthew, there was a specific kind of rehearsal necessary to get ready for the role.
We rehearsed for a couple of weeks before shooting, and that was sort of the heart of the rehearsal for Zach and I, was just to get the same mannerisms down. And he would say, "How would you say this?" And I would tell him, and vice versa. And I think it worked.
We rehearsed a lot, actually.
Yeah, we did rehearse quite a bit.
Yeah.
No triathlons or anything big like that, but we had a lot of rehearsal before we started filming. Some scene rehearsals.
We rehearsed the lightsaber scene every single day.
Every day.
And then you forgot it as soon as we started filming.
I gotta remember that.
Hit me in the head really, really, really hard.
And smacked him in the face with the lightsaber.
That was cute. Watching Zach do the father-daughter scenes with Michelle Trachtenberg and the scenes with all the little floozy girls at high school.
Yeah.
That was cute. Yeah, he was really good at doing that. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, I was at a party, and I had a phone call. I was the envy of every 16-year-old girl in the world, probably, because I got a phone call from Zach, and he had a line, and he said, "How would you say this?" And I think it was a line that he was saying to you, and I sort of said it to him on the phone.
Although Zach was avoiding doing musicals, he still got to lay down some moves in this movie.
He was great at that. We rehearsed that dance sequence a lot, and he just has such a sweet kind of. It was fun to just kind of fall into his eyes and and have that scene with him. It was really fun, and and he's kind of a little flirtatious, which was fun but weird, because I'm the mother of an 11-year-old, but I get why little girls like him, and older women.
This movie had the cast wondering, would I really want to be 17 again?
There's a lot of reasons you would love to go back to being 17 again. But there's a lot of things to be afraid of too. There's so much like adolescent insecurity that is so overwhelming in high school. I don't know that I could handle that again.
I would like to go back and be 17, but be Leslie. And I'll tell you this, I'd never leave the house. If that was the case. That answer made me uncomfortable, and I said it.
Your high school was only about, 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
You were already one of the most famous men in the world?
No, I wasn't.
That happened.
I went to such a normal high school. He's lying. Seriously, I was totally normal all the way until I was my junior year of high school. I'm very grateful for that. That I was able to. Well, I didn't finish high school completely, but I had 3 solid years of the grind. And I'm thankful for that. I knew who I was well before any of this ever happened. So that's cool. Make sure you stay in school.
I'd say you probably were never the guy getting the basketball bounced off of your head.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
No, I didn't get bullied or anything like that. But I think this is a more accurate representation of high school than I'm used to. I can't say for certain. I'm not sure what kind of dad I'm going to be, but I think that'd be fun. I've always enjoyed the idea of putting on a mask and getting to know someone as a peer and not as I'm not a father.
I think that's the coolest part of the movie. The part where you become friends with your kids. That's the coolest part.
It's neat. I know that my dad, he wishes he could do that. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're good friends. But he, that's how he likes to know us. He likes to be our friend. He doesn't want to be our dad. He doesn't want to make us be responsible. He likes to hang out with us, take us to baseball games, and so that's what this movie's about.
17 Again did amazing the first weekend, and it continued to hold strong. I know a lot of adults who went to check out and see what Zac Efron's about. I had a friend of mine at work say, after I watched 17 Again, I understand now why you love him so much.
Hey, I'm Zach. Welcome to my Teen Vogue photo shoot.
As the comet trail of his career burns brighter, Zach is finding opportunities to stretch out in ways he probably never imagined just a few short years earlier.
Zach made a fun webisode for the Will Ferrell site, funnyordie.com, and it was called Zach's Pool Party, and it kind of just poked fun at his, teen star image, and that he was having this big celebrity pool party, and his uncle and aunt crash it and kind of embarrass him in front of all his big celebrity friends. He knows not to take himself too seriously. Zach knows that he can poke fun at himself, He has many sides. He's not just, a Disney star, but I think, we'll slowly see those emerge as his career continues.
In the spring of 2009, Zach hosted Saturday Night Live, an adventurous move, as he undoubtedly attracted a younger audience to the show, and much of the typical Saturday Night Live audience were probably not that familiar with the High School Musical productions.
Appearing on Saturday Night Live is probably a conscious effort to expose himself to a more mature crowd. And also, when you're on Saturday Night Live, that's sort of a rite of passage for an actor sort of up and coming.
The skits were hilarious. Oftentimes poking fun at himself, Zach was terrific on the show.
Kind of poked fun at his whole teen image thing.
You made fun of High School Musical, you made fun of Walt Disney, you made fun... Yeah.
Here's the deal. No one sings at college.
What?
No. And from what I can tell, this is America's only singing high school.
The director of Saturday Night Live said that he was just signing autographs and getting pictures, and so cooperative and entertaining and funny and easygoing and talented, and had nothing but great things to say about him, and I love to hear that.
I think he knows that it's not lasting and to enjoy it while he can, and I know he wants to kind of solidify his career and do more serious roles.
I think on the one hand, it's important for him to give thanks to those that he grew up with and that were friends with him. On the other hand, I think he also kind of wants to keep grounded. He doesn't want to be the next Lindsay Lohan. And I think for him, hanging out with his old buddies kind of keeps him from the excesses of Hollywood.
I'm just old-fashioned. I prefer a phone call and, seeing my friends. They're all here tonight, so we'll be hanging out in person.
I have so much admiration for his family and how they handle him and how he handles them and how he handles himself. I really have a lot of admiration and respect for them.
As he gets to explore other aspects that are part of his skills and understanding the character, he's only going to get better and better. And his performances are going to get richer and deeper. And I know that's his goal, to be a three-dimensional human being who can be someone else equally three-dimensional, because he'll have the skills and he will have developed the experience to make that happen.
Thank you to the most amazing fans in the world. I love you guys so much. Thank you.
So what's next on Zach's horizon? As he matures, undoubtedly, so will the roles that he chooses.
There's a lot of rumors about what projects Zach's going to do next. And I know that Zach does have an interest in doing more serious roles. On the other hand, he does like musicals, so I wouldn't doubt if he would continue to do some more musicals. Hard to say, sort of unpredictable at this point.
In the upcoming The Death and Life of Charlie St. Cloud, Zach plays a man overcome by grief at the death of his younger brother. More projects are in the works for Zach. One is even being touted as a sexy thriller.
I'm really getting into the creative side of this, and figuring out the next step is an exciting challenge. It's fun. I look forward to it.
No matter what, Zach's every move will always be thrilling for his fans.
He's a pretty face, but there's many sides to him, and he's just enjoyable to watch. He makes you laugh, and at the same time he can make your heart melt. There's just a wide array of things that he offers.
Whether watching his past or waiting for more roles in the future, most of Zach's fans have grown up right alongside him.
I love you. I love you.
And one thing is for certain, Zach will always be there for his fans, and we will always be there for him.